Hey guys, I'm Bam, or otherwise known as the biggest bot around here, and I wanted to share with you guys my Season 7 thoughts and my honest opinions about its changes so far. Now, before we move into it, remember, these are my views, and I'd love to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments below. Let's get right on into it. With the 2 weeks we've had to explore strictly Olympus, no rotation, I found that the map was absolutely stunning, from beautiful gardens and estates to Bonsai Plaza, which of course is some of my favorite spots to land. The entire map is spacious and aesthetically pleasing to the eyes. Olympus has 16 named locations to land, so you got plenty of spots to choose from, and of course, a lot of space to travel. Despite how large this map is compared to Kings Canyon and World's Edge, you've got plenty of modes of transportation that make the map pretty easy to get around. On Olympus, there are around 10 jump towers, and because the map doesn't exactly have huge mountains and other protruding structures to block your flight paths, you can cover a lot of the flat, level, ground way easier. The map also has plenty of ziplines scattered, both vertical and horizontal, some of which are insanely long, like the one located between the waterfall house at Turbine, all the way to the Phase Runner, which is also another new mode of transportation, as well as the black hole at Rift, and the Tridents. You know, the Tridents being my favorite way to get around the map.
What the fuck?
I just held on the floor.
Oh my god!
I'm a certified professional Uber driver. That being said, I know we really hoped to get a map that would severely decrease the chances of third parties, but after playing Olympus, especially in Ranked, I personally felt that unless you land at unpopular locations of the map such as Docks, Carrier, or Elysium, you're going to find yourself in the third-party hazard zone, where rotation points are at their highest. But even then, thanks to the various types of mobility, specifically on Olympus, the chance of third parties feels nearly the same as Kings Canyon, even though Olympus is much larger. Kings Canyon small with limited mobility, Olympus large with plenty of mobility. Right? Right. I've also come to the conclusion that the hottest spot on the map is usually right here. You've got disgusting amounts of rotation points where you'll often hear plenty of fighting happening at laps, making it a hot spot for racking up kills and damage. Now, let's talk about the newest hero. While Season 7 may not have brought us a new weapon this time, we did still get a new character that, I believe, changed the game just right. Horizon is introduced as a gravity-defying mobile legend with the ability to land softly on her feet, and reach high ground relatively quickly with her gravity lift. With such a short cooldown on her tactical, she's a legend I definitely put above most others. Her skill set allows her to be amazing for solo and team-based playstyles. I can't say there are too many direct counters for her either, besides Revenant, or just anyone who could obtain high ground like Horizon can. Horizon may be the first unlockable character that hardly needs any buffs or nerfs, and the most I'd say is that Black Hole might need a radius increase, but even then, it's mostly a balanced ability. I would say with the amount of people who have told me they switched legends recently, Horizon is an overall likable character and a successful addition to the hero pool. With the new season's patch notes, we found the usual character changes and weapon changes, and along with it all, an updated Battle Pass leveling system. The new Battle Pass was aimed to focus more on completing challenges and rewarding you for doing so, rather than the prior version rewarding you mainly for playtime in the form of XP, and challenges mostly being optional. Let me start off by saying these changes, when I had initially looked at them, hardly bothered me, knowing that me, being a rare circumstance with lots of ability for playtime, and figured the challenges instead would just be something I would have to focus on getting out of the way as per usual. But when I had started playing the first few days, it took way too much experience just to even gain one single star. And completing all the challenges and dailies I calculated barely provided more than a few Battle Pass levels every single week. The new changes proved to be more tiresome than anything, and another instance where Respawn devs had the right idea, but a poor initial execution. And if leveling the battle pass wasn't easy for me, I was more concerned about the players who couldn't nearly put as much time into the game as myself. Further adjustments were also to be made this week, previously addressed by Chad Grenier, reverting the difficulty of daily challenges back to Season 6's difficulty levels, and as compensation, 10 Battle Pass levels are to be rewarded to every player. Rewarding us with 10 Battle Pass levels wasn't exactly something I agreed with, despite the Battle Pass changes being Respawn's screw-up. I still wanted the feeling of getting through the Battle Pass levels myself, but at the same time I can understand that for a solid week, other players that didn't include me may have struggled with gaining more than a handful of levels, and would need that kind of a boost. I never saw a need to change anything up with the original Battle Pass systems, but definitely found that the rewards for the Battle Pass cosmetics were always missing something. They were very lackluster. When looking back at the old Battle Pass rewards, I noticed we've only ever gotten epic banner frames, never any legendaries. Respawn definitely missed the opportunity to make some of these epic banners way better with a little animation, and we could have given 1 or 2 characters legendary banners every season. It just feels like the passes waste space with rare weapon skins hardly anyone uses or likes. Just some small changes I think that could be made, and I would love to see more banner cosmetics, giving us more customization and identity. Above all else, I wanted to ever so briefly address legend changes, and, knowing me, very specifically, Mirages. Now I'm not saying this is the most important aspect of Season 7, and it didn't make or break it, but it just is. I'd say the biggest waste of time for this season had to be the buffs to Mirage, and so far, nothing in this season's patch notes, absolutely nothing, upset me more than this. So a little while back, Mirage ended up getting a rework that changed the way you used your ultimate, and the amount of controllability you had over your decoys. While he used to go invisible in his ult, and you could uncloak earlier than the 7 to 8 seconds you had before, they ended up changing it to no invisibility, and your decoys imitate your movement and scatter in different directions. Mirage ended up getting another passive that allowed him and whoever he revived to go invisible as well. Not exactly what I wanted them to change about him, but it was a decent rework way back when, which still left Mirage as a mid-tier character. I'm a firm believer that Mirage needs a little push to be better as a legend, and that's why I was excited that by the end of Season 6, the devs hinted to expect some great change for him. Of course I was hyped, that sounded promising. Until the patch notes came around and I scanned down the list for Mirage, and this was all they gave him? While I've welcomed and seen the potential to the changes they've given Mirage so far, this so-called buff was so minuscule they might as well not have given him anything at all. There's hardly a point in giving the decoys 45 health. I can understand the unbalanced impact decoys could have had if the bullets didn't phase through them, but to have the decoys flash when shot takes away from the initial attempt to increase their believability anyway. Including the fact that they have audio voice line cues as well. That mostly negates the point of giving them health to begin with. I've hardly seen any change in gameplay with this buff that was moderately hyped before the season. What I really would have liked to see them work on was his ultimate, because his old ultimate was realistically much better. Mirage was a little more enjoyable being able to pull off flanks in the older ult, and at least the sound and visual cues of his footsteps were reasonable. In his new ult, you trade invisibility for decoys mimicking your movement. I was always dissatisfied with the trade because footsteps still give away which one is the real you. The ult takes a second to activate, and depending on the situation, your decoys can block your line of sight as well as your teammates'. Longevity of the decoys hardly creates a positive impact on this playstyle, just a neutral one. Everything remained the same, enemies still shot my decoys the same way as before, and in my ultimate, it's still mostly clear which one is the correct Mirage. He has too many visual and audio cues to fool an average player and above. Overall, I'm just heavily disappointed in the developers' choice to make these the Mirage buffs. On the bright side though, Season 7 has been a success and definitely one of the better seasons of Apex that's introduced an overhaul of new additions to the game, as well as the way we play. This has been my brief overview of Season 7 so far, and again, would love to hear your guys' opinions down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to please hit subscribe for future content, and don't forget to hit up my Twitch channel live. I'll see you guys in the game. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.